Goofy, silly, and loud are all characteristics that describe me. I've been known for my laugh and big smile. I grew up around church all my life, but never really understood the relationship part of faith. I put everything I had into baseball, and when that fell apart, so did I. In my searching, I stumbled into Stone Creek Church to work at Camp Arrowhead. That's when my life began to change. I started following Jesus seriously, and I experienced a change in how I felt about myself and the constant joy that Jesus brings, even in the midst of difficulty. My name is Jake Birnbaum, and this is my yearbook. What's up, Wake? How we doing? Y'all doing good? So my name is Jake Birnbaum, and I'm a senior at Cambridge High School, and I'm going to be attending Samford University in the fall. Go Bulldogs. This is just such a cool opportunity to get to be in a room full of people and share my story. And to get started, everyone has been doing a few fun facts about themselves to just warm up to the crowd. And to start, I just want to give a quick thank you to the worship team. That was incredible, and over this past year, I've gotten the amazing opportunity to sing with them, play guitar, and it has helped me grow so much in my faith. And I've always loved music as a kid. In elementary school, when I got a project, most people would do like a poster or a collage or a PowerPoint or something cute, but I would just look at my mom and I'd just be like, Mom, I want to make a rap video. So what I got for y'all today is a little bit about transportation safety.
This is Grant and I am Jakey. We're here to talk transportation safety. Green means go, yellow means slow, red means stop. Wait a minute, here we go. When you get in the car, don't look at your phone. Wait to text till you get home. When you're partying hard, don't get in the car. If you drink too much, you won't get far. When you see a bus, put the stop sign out. You must stop so you don't take the kids out. If you're riding your bike, be aware of the cars. Always keep 2 hands on the handlebars. Always wear a helmet so you don't hurt your head. If you don't follow this, you might end up in bed. If you see a stop sign, come to a complete stop. If you don't, you'll get pulled over by a cop. Follow these rules. Don't act like for transportation safety. That's what's up.
That is really what's up right there. That was an absolute gem. That gets me every single time. And my second fun fact, and it's usually how I do any icebreaker, is I start off by saying I was 6 foot in the 7th grade. And nobody ever believes me, but I actually have a few pictures to show y'all today to prove my size. The first one is gonna be me playing baseball. I'm 12 there. I'm 12 years old. Like, it's like the movie. It's like, how can I be 12? Like, at that size. Absolutely ridiculous. The second picture, and I have a little shout out to KK. She did amazing last week. Give it up for KK. And you know, in this picture, I look like a creepy man and KK looks like she's 6. So we're gonna move past that, and you can take that picture off the screen. And my next fun fact is kind of unrelated to anything in my life, but I just absolutely love queso. I don't know about y'all, but queso is just one of my favorite foods, and I find comfort in it just like I did as a little kid. This is where you say, "Aww." Yeah, there you go. Awesome, you can take that off. That is enough of the fun facts, but just jumping into my story a little bit. I have grown up in Milton all my life. I have an older sister named Ariel and a lovely golden retriever named Gracie. And I was baptized as a baby in the Methodist church, and I went to church semi-regularly. I didn't really care for it, but I was there because I love music, and it did help me in a way, just kind of refocus my life and make sure I'm staying on the right track. But I didn't love it. And as my sister and I got older, she played softball and I played baseball. So we spent pretty much every weekend at the ball field and not really at church. And despite having year-long baseball, though, I kept a week of my summer dedicated to a place called Woodlands Camp. Raise your hand if you've ever been to Woodlands. Oh, a lot more than I thought. So Woodlands is also where we do our winter retreat pause. And I would go to Woodlands for a week during the summer, starting in the 6th grade. It was something I found a lot of fun in, and there was a little bit of Jesus in there, but I didn't really pay attention to that. I was mainly focused on the fun. And I went more and more every year and got more and more into it. But in middle school, baseball also ramped up a lot more. So baseball got really serious. You kept practicing a lot, and it was all about, hey, like, do you want to play at the next level? Like, you got to do this and this and this just so you can be good enough to keep going. And that was a lot for me. But going into high school, I was still all in for baseball. And my freshman year, I decided to try out for the Cambridge baseball team, and I made it, and it was a lot of fun, and I would not take back any of those memories for the world. And in the middle of the season, on March 13th, actually, some of y'all might know that day, we got told that our season was going to stop because of COVID, and it was kind of like, what the heck? Like, that's so different. And that's where life became different for me. It became different for everyone, all of us. And so I had to find a way to pass time during COVID. And most people, like, you could read a book or watch a movie, but I practiced drawing. I even contributed to a few family puzzles. Like, my mom knit a blanket. Knitting a blanket, like Jake Birnbaum, just getting his hands dirty knitting a blanket just doesn't really make any sense to me. But I slowly got through that period just like the rest of us did. And it got a little bit easier, and we finally got back to school, but we had the mask, and it was tough. I mean, if you've ever, with a mask on, walked up the spiral staircase at Cambridge, it's tough. You get huffing and puffing, and, for me, I got up there and was like, oh, God. Oh, man, it was a lot just to get up and down the stairs for me. It was weird, smaller classes, Zoom calls, weird assignments, just nothing was normal. And I was a little tired of baseball at the time because I hadn't been practicing. I was just kind of out of the loop. But baseball season came around, and I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try out again this year, but I was not practicing, and I was not at the best of my ability. So this time I got cut. I didn't have a place on the team. I wasn't quite good enough. And this was a down thing for me because I had never really heard no. I had always made every team that I'd tried out for, gotten every job. And so, it's in the large scheme of things, not making a baseball team isn't that serious of a thing. But what I want to focus on is the no's that we receive in our life will hurt us regardless of what it is, whether that's a job, a relationship, a sports team, getting accepted into a college. We all have that one thing that when we put our emotions and our heart to, and that gets taken away from us, it really hurts, and it leaves you kind of empty, kind of what do I do with myself? Because I don't really know, because this has been what I've done all my life. And I decided, after getting cut from the high school team, that there was no chance I was playing in the summer. I decided that I needed to find something to do. And I was sitting down with my mom looking for jobs, and she directed me to a place called Camp Arrowhead. Make some noise for camp. So camp it's awesome. It's for kindergarten through 6th grade here at Stone Creek. And I decided, you know what, since I loved Woodlands so much, I was going to apply for camp and just see where my summer took me. So I applied, got an interview set up, and kind of in the middle of the time between my interview, I was looking on Instagram trying to find something to do, and I came across this thing called FCA 180. And I went to FCA 180, and this dude, kind of weird, named Sean, happened to be speaking. Some of y'all might know him. And he was surrounded by a little posse of people that I now know were the interns at the time. Kind of silly. But Lauren Cushing, decided to just be bold and ask me. She was like, hey, you should come to Wake. It's this thing Stone Creek does every Wednesday. And I was like, yeah, I'm so in. And I couldn't go the week she invited me. But the next week, I'd followed them on Instagram, and I saw a little video, kind of like the one we saw before, and it was for an old family friend of ours, Lindley Darnell. She's here. Give it up for Lindley. So I decided I was going to go because, quick fun fact, my family bought our current house from the Darnells. Little, crazy story, small world. And my first wake was Lindley's Yearbook, and I fell in love since. I fell in love with the people, the music, the atmosphere. I craved it. And then my interview happened, and just a quick shout out to John, Jordan, and Rachel. My interview for Camp Arrowhead is kind of what kept me at Stone Creek and made me really want to pursue getting involved in church and in ministry, because y'all were so natural and welcoming, and it was funny, and I got to be myself and not care about what anyone thinks. And it was unlike any job interview I'd ever done before. I sang Taylor Swift. I talked about Oreos, Cheez-Its, etc. I don't even know. And so going into the summer, I was super excited for all my new friends and new opportunities. And it was just incredible being surrounded by people my age who believe in Jesus and pour into me, and seeing kids come to Jesus for the first time was a love that I had never seen before, and it broke things down in a simple way for me. And that joy that I got that summer really changed how I felt about myself and felt about not having sports in my life anymore. And I have a verse, it's Proverbs 17:22. And Proverbs 17:22 says, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." So when I got cut from baseball, I had a crushed spirit. I was like, I'm not good enough for anything or anyone. And then I found this joy in Jesus, and I realized how valuable I was and how cared for I was and how much fun that this could be, and that I didn't have to be a certain way or act like certain people to be enough for something. And in the middle of the summer, like David talked about, Ryan Gordon had this idea to do a worship night at Birmingham Park before the escape. And it was incredible. Like David talked about, we just spent hours just worshiping and praying for each other. It was just unlike anything I had seen before. And a little point here is this was the first time in my life I had really seen an outbreak like this outside of the last night of camp or the last night of a church retreat. So what I challenge y'all in today is to look for God in the little things. It doesn't have to be a big moment for everyone. It can be in the little things and in the little beauties of the world, like laughing and crying and smiling, like every healthy thing like that, we can point back to God. And usually people follow this, and you're going to hear it again. It was the escape, and people talk about Here As in Heaven that year, where the voices just carried in the room for 20 minutes, and I hear this story over and over again, but I wasn't there. I was in Utah, but here's what I'm going to say. Utah is beautiful. If you have never been to Utah, I recommend it because this helped me find a peace in the middle of the summer. It helped me find rest. And yes, I was a little upset, but like if you saw the sky that I saw, you would agree with me. I promise you. I'll show you pictures another time. And after this summer happened, I did everything I could to get involved. I was at Stone Creek more than I probably should have been every single day, just hanging out, just to hang out, like just having fun. And the school year went on that way. I got involved in Wake. I started following Jesus more seriously. And then going into the summer, it was a no-brainer for me to work at Camp Arrowhead again. And it was an absolute blast. The people, the activities, again, it started off great. But at the beginning of summer, May 28th, 2022, I was playing golf, and I checked my phone to see a group text from all of my friends. We have a guy group chat, and it said that Nate Leffler, Zach Leffler, Chris Leffler, and Lori Leffler just passed away in a boating accident. And when you hear something like that, you don't want to believe it. So I was like, oh, it's just a joke. I kept playing golf. And then my phone rang, and I got a call from my mom. And it was like, Jake, it's true. I don't want you to look at your phone anymore. I don't want you to Like, I want you to be careful driving home because I know you've never experienced something like this. And Nate was one of my very best friends, and he was my neighbor. His brother was someone that I looked up to and got to hang out with very regularly. His dad was my sports coach growing up. He was our football coach, our basketball coach. Like, he just meant a lot to me. And his mom was kind of a second mom for everyone, and was one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I found myself after this asking God why. And a lot of y'all might be asking God why during your tough moments and your struggles and your grief and death. And honestly, I didn't know why. It took so long. I still haven't healed from it because every day when I drive by their house, a tear just falls down my cheek because they meant so much to me. And like I said before, when you put your emotions into something or you have a relationship centered around love with something, when that ends, it hurts, all right? And I want y'all to know that it's important that you process your emotion and that you process death and grief, because if you don't, it's going to be really hard, and it's something that you cannot get through alone at all. And a verse that I've always hung on to is Psalm 34:18, and it states that the Lord is near the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. And that always was just a constant reminder that it's like, hey, it might not have been my plan to not graduate with Nate or not get to experience all these little things with him, like have birthdays without him, stuff like that. But I learned that death is just a doorway into eternal life, and that sometimes God's plan, or always God's plan, is bigger than our plan. And in the Lord's Prayer, it talks about your will be done. And that's got to be a constant prayer in our life, that his will be done over ours, because we might not know why, and I still don't know why bad things happen to good people, but I know that God has a plan, and I know that the Loefflers are in a better place now. And getting through the summer, it kind of had some stumbling moments, some sadder moments for me, but it brightened up and it still had some good points. I went to Woodlands again. It was awesome. And I decided after camp and everything that I wanted to apply for the internship here. And I interviewed, which, by the way, was one of the goofiest things I've ever done. Like, you go into the room, it's like a panel of 5 people. Sean might ask you to sing. He might ask you about something silly. It was weird. Like, I felt a little out of place, but it was a lot of fun. And I got the job, which was absolutely awesome. And this internship has helped me grow so much. It's helped me just put people in my life that pour into me. Like, you pour out so much when you volunteer at church, but you get it even more back when you're surrounded in the community like I have. And I've just loved every second of it, and I've learned so much. And I promise we don't just play spike ball. We love Jesus too. And last week, something awesome happened, and as interns, we get the opportunity to pour into a lot of people, and y'all do too. But last week, one of my best friends, Brad, got baptized. Give it up for Brad. And this was cool for a few reasons. Obviously, any baptism is cool. I honestly cry during any baptism. It just gets my heart going. If you look at like their parents when someone's getting baptized and like they're crying, it's just never. So it was really cool just because it was baptism, but also Brad was someone that I continuously invited to church and continuously prayed for. And it's a really encouraging thing when you see in front of you a yes happen to something that you sort of planted the seed in. And what I want to say is that if y'all are receiving like no's from your friends, don't stop, because they're going to keep wondering and getting more and more curious, just like Brad. And the last thing about last week that was really cool is I also got baptized, which was, thank you. So that was just an amazing experience to get to really solidify my love for Jesus and really make my faith entirely my own and not anything that I had done in my past or anything that people have done for me. And if y'all are thinking about baptism, either just go for it. Just really dive into what you think God has to say to you And it might be a long journey. Like some people, it happens for them immediately, and you don't have to feel bad that you're not connecting immediately and God's not speaking to you, but he is, and he's working towards you every step of the way. And I promise that he is calling you home. And a few things just kind of to wrap up before my thank yous is just a few points that I want y'all to apply to your own life that have happened to me. And that first point is, don't let your identity fall in the world when you are a child of God. For me, it was always in baseball and making people laugh and having a lot of friends and stuff like that. But for you, it can be many different things. It can be addictions, relationships, academics, anything. You can't fill that gap. You'll always feel something missing. And the second point is, when you get lost in your faith, find people who love you and make you feel seen. You really don't know the impact and power of loving friends until you surround yourself with them, because the impact that a friend can have can last a lifetime. Like, I will always cherish every memory that I get with my friends because it's so special to me. And through Nate's, I've realized that life is so fragile, and it's important that we tell people that we love them, and that we just try to always work towards our friends and even work towards our enemies. It's really important. So I can't express enough that find people who pour into you and point you into the direction of Christ. And number 3, my last point, it says, in the midst of grief and death and life, lean on God and take a minute to process all your blessings. James 1 says, consider it all pure joy. Consider all the trials in your life joy, because I promise you that God has a plan. Now for my thank yous. First off, I just want to thank my family, Mom, Dad, Ariel. Thank you so much for being my best friends and supporting me no matter what. Gosh, I'm not going to get through this. Thank you to my small group. Y'all have given me some amazing memories and helped me walk through anything I needed help with. John, Steve, Colton, thank you for being leaders who always chase after me and check in. To some of the older mentors in my life, Carson, I know you're at Orange Conference right now, but thank you so much for being so goofy and so intentional with me. Your work ethic is something I will always admire. I've loved all the memories of sharing the stage together. Boy, do I wish I was a flatbread pizza. Inside joke. Jake, Andrew, Ben, Ryan, Trey, Cole, thank y'all for being like the older brothers I never had and giving me the best advice and moments of laughter that I will never forget. Now for the interns. KK, thank you so much for being one of my best friends growing up and someone who will always make me smile. Kennedy, aka Miss Purr, I owed her that one from a What Are the Odds? I have known you for so long, and it is awesome seeing how much both of us have grown, from safety patrol to preaching in front of the church. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Riley, thank you so much for always knowing what I need and being quick to listen to whatever I have to say. Never change who you are. Brenna, thank you so much for being my worship buddy and my best friend. I'm so excited to see what Samford has in store for the two of us. Ansley, you're probably backstage right now, but you're going to crush it. I'm so proud of you and your story. You are going to do incredible things at Kentucky. David, I'm so proud of you. The confidence you have gained over this year has been amazing. You're going to do such big things. Thank you for all the laughs. To round out the interns, Cooper. Thank you for being my best friend. You are someone I never get tired of being around. You are always there to pray for me and laugh with me. I will never, ever forget the stories we have together, and I'm so excited to make many more. Lastly, Wake team, Sean, Jackie, Eliza, Svenja, y'all have been the best leaders I could ever ask for. Y'all have all been so vital in my faith, and the way y'all take care of others is so incredible to watch, and I hope to be half the people that y'all are when I'm older. Austin Boyette, he sang Sinking Deep for me. Thank you so much he's my music teacher. Thank you so much for being a constant joy in my life and always being someone to listen and help me out. I appreciate you so much. And my name is Jake Birnbaum, and this is my yearbook.